There are those out there who want you to believe Pyroclast is a slow, lumbering weapon, awkward to handle, unsuitable for beginners. But Ace, what if I told you there was another way? Go on, take the red pill. Well, how do you feel? You suddenly hate women. That's not normally a side effect. Are you sure that wasn't always there? Hi, I'm waiting for Gato. They'll be here any day now, but before they arrive, let me tell you about the most fun build I've had playing Pyroclast. This guide is going to skip a lot of the basics of Pyro, so if you need a full guide, I recommend watching my Pyro breakdown video. And because good rolls on gear and legendary drops are so hard to come by in the early access, this build won't focus on any of that. The only thing you'll need is the McCracken Umbra, which can be found here, and skill points. As for stats, you're going to want to prioritize attack, strike damage, and weapon meter. Then survivability like HP and HP regen. I recommend the Operative's Legacy set for the extra damage. However, as long as you have enough attack power to one-shot enemies with your 1-bar focus skill, then you can find whatever set you prefer. This build is complete at level 48, but is still entirely viable before that. So how do you play this build? Well, we're going to break it down into 4 segments. Charging Seer, activating and maintaining Seer, using Seer exclusive skills, and lastly, the preferred user skills. Pyroclast has the innate ability to charge its weapon meter by using the weapon skill. The amount charged increases with additional weapon meter gain. The first step in this build is improving our weapon meter charge by taking the skill Pyro Surge. While attacking, quickly recover and charge Seer. Get used to seeing this animation as it will become a staple in this build. Thermal Amplification, which increases our weapon meter gain from attacks and greatly increases it when receiving damage. The third skill we take is Preheat. Preheat recovers weapon meter over time. With the combination of Pyro Surge, Thermal Amplification, and Preheat, you'll greatly improve your ability to charge the weapon meter. Here's how your typical combat encounter will look. Heavy, light, weapon skill. As you can see here, it only took 1 hit and 2 combo rotations to fully charge Seer. Now, the reason I do this combo without a combo finisher is because it allows us to keep the enemy in the ideal position. Using a full combo would push the enemy back, delaying the overall speed of the weapon charge. Now that we have Seer charged up, let's talk about activating Seer with Searing Burst. Searing Burst. When activating Seer, trigger an explosion that applies burning to enemies hit. Searing Burst is a powerful skill, rivaling that of a 1-bar focus skill. It also has built-in stability, allowing you to briefly power through most attacks. As for maintaining Seer, Seer has a base uptime of 12 seconds. However, we're going to take 2 skills to increase the duration of Seer. Persistent Pyre, which adds 4 seconds to Seer, and Persistent Pyre 2, which adds an additional 4 seconds. With these 2 skills, Seer will last you 20 seconds. Stats like Boon Duration do not increase the duration of skills like Seer and Valor, so 20 seconds right now is the maximum length we can have. Now that Seer is charged and the duration is maximized, this is where the fun begins. And before we get into the part that matters the most, don't forget to leave a comment telling me what builds you'd like to see, or subscribe for more Towerborne content. Seeing people engage with these posts really motivates me to keep going, so if you take the time to do so, I really appreciate it. Starting with Pyro Surge. When Seer is active, Pyro Surge performs an AoE attack, knocking up enemies. This is a great move because it can hit approaching enemies and reset your combo quickly, allowing you to dodge or continue attacking. Ember Lunge. While Seer is active, use your weapon skill while dashing to perform an explosive kick. This skill allows you to quickly dash across the battlefield, knocking up enemies that can be airborne and applying burn to all in your path. Pyro Surge and Ember Lunge can effectively knock up and dash through the map. This is a low-risk, high-reward setup that constantly repositions you while leaving most enemies unable to respond. It's also just a lot of fun. Lastly, we have Ember Cyclone. While airborne, use the weapon skill to perform a blazing spin attack. You guessed it, this move knocks down enemies too. All of the Seer exclusive skills leave enemies prone, assuming that they can be, which is why this setup is faster, safer, and in my opinion, the most fun Pyro setup I've come across. To finish off the build, let's talk about the focus skills I suggest as well as the passive nodes from Class Mastery that I think you should take. For the focus skills, I always take Blast Off and Crimson Roar. Blast Off deals the most damage in the shortest time. It has the least active frames of all the 1-bar focus skills, and it places you in the air, which can dodge attacks as well as lead into the aerial weapon skill. Blazing Roar is also the fastest focus skill and dishes out the highest damage and high burn stacks. Combine this with the Cinder Charge node, which applies additional stacks of burn, and you can quickly melt a single target, especially when paired with McCracken. The last skills I recommend are Unshakable Strength, which increases your strike damage by 10% when stability is active, and you can pair this with the aspect of Stable Focus, which gives you stability after using a focus skill, along with McCracken to more or less always have stability active. And lastly, Scorch Blast, which triggers a small explosion when hitting a burning target. This gives a nice damage boost as well as bouncing airborne targets, keeping them disabled for longer. Now the goal of this build is to provide a different playstyle than the usual slow and steady burn stacking build. Red Rush is a faster, more agile, more engaged playstyle that is both high in damage, mobility, and lower in risk. This build is a ton of fun to play and is honestly the most fun I've had playing Towerborne. If you're looking to check out Pyroclast, or if Pyroclast hasn't been clicking for you, give this build a try. And if you do give it a shot, let me know what you think down in the comments.